Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Scores studio. Welcome to the show. So, well, it feels good to be back in the studio. It feels good to be back without a beard as well. Yeah, the shave felt really good today. And yeah, things are getting a little more back to normal. Finally getting a grip on the Wilds of Eldraine spoilers. Hopefully, at least trying to stay a little more timely with these releases of episodes as again, things get a little more back to normal. So let's jump into some really exciting spoilers that we got recently since the last one. And I couldn't kind of wait to make an episode about this one, Virtue of Persistence. So I kind of didn't realize that there's a cycle coming with these virtues. The blue one, I think, was the one I talked about in my initial episode on Wilds of Eldraine. And I didn't realize we were going to get more than one of these kind. And I kind of actually missed another one I'll talk about here in a bit. But yeah, this one is huge. Let's talk about it. Enchantment for 5 black. It has a sorcery adventure, Lockdwain Scorn, for just 1 and a black. Target creature gets -3/-3 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. So that is a very good low to the ground removal spell that can be used early on in the game to take out, let's say, medium-sized to small creatures. And yeah, that's fantastic. Good amount of flexibility to this enchantment, which of course at 7 mana better be very powerful. And here you go. Beginning of your upkeep, put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. Yeah, so again, anyone's graveyard, not just our own. So, I mean, this can kind of set itself up, I guess, at least taking out 1 creature, which, yeah, sure, it's probably not going to be the biggest creature in the world, but still, you can set yourself up with at least 1. Of course, you are in black. You've got plenty of ways to take care of creatures, a lot of board wipes, a lot of fantastic, edict effects as well. Take out creatures and, yeah, just utilize all those juicy creatures from graveyards to your advantage. Of course, stealing your opponent's creatures as well, and yeah, also utilizing your own too. And of course, this is just a very big, very powerful enchantment. It's actually incredibly reminiscent of an older card, Debtor's Knell, which I believe is an Orzhov, right? I think the same mana cost, actually 4 Orzhov, so 7 mana in total, I believe, is exactly what that does. I think it's exactly the exact same, except for this one, again, is easier for you to cast, I mean, depending on the deck, and also it can fit in more decks, and also, yeah, it's got flexibility, again, being able to help be a removal spell earlier on in the game, again, for just 2 mana, taking out a medium or small creature, and a little bit of life gain in there too, so life gain decks can consider it as well. But yeah, a big splashy effect that's like, again, once you start getting to your upkeeps, just whatever the best creatures in graveyards are, those are now yours. I mean, 1 a turn, but still, being able to just take your opponent's best creature out of a graveyard and utilize it against them can be absolutely massive. So yeah, this card can see play, obviously, in Enchantress decks out there. I say Enchantress in general, but, decks that care about a lot of enchantments in play, or casting enchantments, or playing enchantments. Also, decks that can maybe cheat this out. Also, decks that maybe can mill your opponents. Maybe decks that can mill themselves. Or just a creature-based deck that just has some really heavy hitters that might have maybe some big ETBs that you can really take advantage of again and again and again. And, of course, keep in mind, this works very well with Entomb-type effects. Cards that go get a card out of your library, get it right in your graveyard. There are, of course, some great ones. I think Buried Alive is another one that goes against 3 creatures in your graveyard. So, yeah, again, this card is definitely worthy of its mythic title, essentially, But yeah, the Virtue of Persistence, it's going to be exciting. I think there's only 2 virtues left that we have not seen so far. We'll go through another one here in this episode that I have not talked about. I think Virtue of Knowledge was the blue one we talked about Virtue of Persistence. Talking about the other one that I haven't talked about yet, and then there should be a green and a red one left. So there you go. Moving on. Another really cool card we got is the Apprentice's Folly. This one is, slated for my Giganta deck if it is budget-friendly. It is a rare, but we shall see. For 2 blue and red, so again, you need to be in Is It colors. Giganta, obviously, is a 5-color commander. It has its first 2 lower counters are the exact same. Choose target non-token creature you control that doesn't have the same name as a token you control. Create a token that's a copy of it, except it isn't legendary, is a reflectionist to other types, and has haste. The 3rd lower counter is, unfortunately, sacrifice all reflections you control. So now, this one is one that if you've got like a counter management kind of commander or other cards that work with counter management, that can work very well with this. So you can kind of avoid, sacrificing your reflections. Or if you got a way to just bounce this back to your hand, you can do that as well. I know there's that one commander that can remove, but I think that's just in blue. Can actually remove counters and move them elsewhere. So yeah, if you've got ways to move the counters around, if you've got ways to remove those counters, or again, if you've got a way to just say, yeah, I'm just going to bounce this back to my hand, replay it or blink it or whatnot, essentially to reset it so you don't get to that third one. That is pretty ideal because, again, this is just basically like, hey, yeah, start making copies of your non-token creatures. Now, you can't make like the same token, essentially, again, because it says that doesn't have the same name as token you control. So basically, just make extra copies of all your creatures. And yeah, my Giganta deck absolutely loves that and uses populate type effects to take advantage of that as well. Of course, if you want to get these quicker, I mean, you want the first two quicker. You don't want that last one quicker. You can obviously, you know, utilize your proliferate effects, there we go, that you might want to utilize with something like this. But yeah, this can be really good in taking advantage of ETBs, especially, you know, also attack triggers as well, giving those, they have haste, obviously, again, has the haste. Them being reflections, not a good thing for that, obviously. And yeah, keep in mind, changelings are really, really bad in combination with this because your changelings are technically also reflections, right? I believe that would be correct because it should be a creature type, correct? So yes, you'd have to sacrifice your changelings as well. So just keep that in mind that you probably don't want to include this in a changeling deck because that third lore counter could just not be great for you. So do keep that in mind. A very interesting card. Again, one that I think Giganta is like, yeah, that could be really good in my deck. So again, being able to make different tokens or different copies of different creatures you have. Typically, when it comes to like a create a token copy of a creature controller, that's like 3 or 4 mana. This one is giving you 2 token copies, and it's giving them haste as well for 4 mana over 2 turns. Again, the downside is you lose those tokens eventually, but again, if you're really taking advantage of those ETBs, LTBs, whatever you're taking advantage of, yeah, that's fine. The third lore counter is not great, but is still not that big of a deal compared to giving you 2 token copies, which is huge. Finally, I don't know how I missed this one. Again, that first day was really crazy for me. My apologies for missing a good amount of spoilers that day, but I want to talk about the Virtue of Loyalty, which I have not actually realized was a card yet. And again, we have a cycle apparently that is coming, or we have 3 cards in Esper, and then Gruul cards aren't getting any, but I highly doubt that. So we'll probably see a Virtue of green, whatever stuff, Virtue of red, whatever stuff. So here we go, Virtue of Loyalty. Champion for 3, white. Hardened Veil Fealty for 1 and a white is the instant adventure. Create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. So low the ground, you know, again, 2 mana for a 2/2 vigilant is, yeah, I mean, that's probably about what's it going to cost you. But still, that's not really a huge thing. That being said, this second part is huge. Beginning of your end step, but if also encounter on each creature you control and tap those creatures. That's the enchantment portion of this. Yeah, that's pretty huge. So again, get a creature down early, awesome, and then also just keep getting it bigger and bigger and bigger, and all your creatures bigger and bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger and bigger. Every single end step, just getting more and more counters on them and untapping them. So kind of like a pseudo vigilance with that, essentially. Like, okay, I can swing other creatures and untap them. Also keep in mind, I mean, with like Cryptolith, right? Like, you know, mana dorks in general. Yeah, being able to give your creatures mana dork abilities, essentially tap for mana, or like invoking creatures as well. You can take advantage of all that kind of stuff, or just activate abilities that tap, like Arcanist Omnipotent, tap, draw 3 cards, cool. Untap, do it again. Having a free untap each turn is massive, so yeah, keep that in mind as well. It's only on your end step, not every single end step. That'd be pretty gross if it was every single end step. That'd be like, I mean, I guess that'd be like Seedborn Muse, but for just creatures. Regardless, a very, very powerful effect, and yeah, one that I can see a good amount of decks out there wanting. Again, decks that care about counters, because this just automatically gets counters on all your creatures. Kind of like a Loyal Guardian, but much, much better. Because Loyal Guardian is, well, a creature that can be removed quite easily. And yeah, I think it has requirement. It's a lieutenant, right? You need your commander in play for that actually to happen. But still, this one's like, hey, get counters on everything, also in tap. Oh, and by the way, early on, sure, just use me to actually just make a 2/2 knight. Why not? Yeah, I'm loving what they're doing with adventures right now. I'm happy to see them on enchantments. We shall see kind of where they go in the future. I don't think this, I think Mark Rosewater did say there's only 1 new permanent type that is getting adventures, so that is enchantments apparently. We shall see in the future if we ever get adventures on anything else, like, you know, maybe lands. That could be interesting to see. So yeah, we shall see. They're probably dipping their toe just a bit further into adventures, and yeah, I guess with a land it'd be like an MDFC, technically, kind of ish, but not really. Anyways, a lot of really exciting cards coming out. I'm going to try my best to keep you up to date on them. And yeah, comment below your thoughts on all these. What do you think you'd be using these cards for? What decks really want these cards? Again, that one, the Apprentice's Folly. Giganta's just like, yes, please. Yes, please. Please be budget, because any way to make a lot of token copies of creatures is going to be huge in that one. So yeah, let me in the comments below. Stay tuned to this channel for more quick takes and spoilers coming up. But of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.